guys. Hello, 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 everybody. Let's see. Today is the 23rd. It's 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. And I made it on time. I think this is the first time all week I've made it right on time. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's see. Today I have 2 card pulls scheduled and 1 slot open. Where are all my pens? There's one. Hello, Martina. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, yes, I need to turn off my phone. Okay, so today, wow, I don't even really quite know what to say today. Today, wow, today. Good morning, Wendy. That would be awesome. Okay, great, perfect. That's our polls for today. Okay, you guys, so tomorrow is the fair. It's the fair. We have been working for the last few weeks to get this ready for you guys. Martina, we have all 3 slots. Oh wait, it's Friday. What am I talking about? It's Q&A Friday, you guys. It's everybody. Whoever wants a poll gets a poll today. You see, I'm all over the place. Let's see. So the fair. We'll see. The fair is going to be really fun, I hope. It is our first fair. We have never put anything like this on before. It's a little overwhelming. There's a lot going on. I hope to see so many of you guys there. Yeah, the fair. It's in McMinnville. Oh my God. So all over the place today, Alex. Can you just feel it? Like, can you feel my mind in like 30 different places right now? Yeah, it's that kind of day. I'm going to be going shopping all day today with a good friend of mine. Her husband just received an inheritance. Let's see. And they decided to completely remodel their entire townhouse. It's like it's a completely different house. If you would have rebuilt it from the inside, they put all wood floors in, they replaced the carpet on the stairs and the upstairs. They didn't change their upstairs bathroom, or their guest bathroom, or their guest bedroom, or their bedroom, but they changed their bathroom completely, put in heated stone floors, beautiful stone shower. It's stunning. They put in stained glass windows, wood trim everywhere, reframed all the windows in wood. I mean, it's just stunning. So she wants to update like everything, like all of her kitchen stuff, all of the canisters, the towels, the everything. So today, after Morning Oasis, I'm going to be in shopping land, knee deep in housewares. And so I told my husband, I was like, we haven't really bought any new floor mats or anything for the rugs for the kitchen or the bathroom in a while. So I will be doing some shopping myself as well. Maybe I'll find something fun for the fair. Dream day out. Yeah, see, it's funny. It is not my dream day out. To me, I love my friend, and that's the whole reason I'm going to go with her and do this, is because I love her, and she's kind of my mentor. She's been doing. They didn't call it consciousness work in those days, right? They called it self-help work and all of that. But she's been doing it since the 80s. Her business is called Life Design. Someday I'll have her on because she's bi-coastal. So she's been in Florida and then in Italy, and they just got back. So she's lives just down the way. I'm definitely going to make her come on sometime because you guys will just get a kick out of her. She's been doing the kind of work that most of us, the life coaching piece of what we do, she's been doing that since the 80s. So she's a very exciting and interesting woman. Anyway, so I'm thrilled to spend the day with her. I'm thrilled to be able to support her. She has always supported me in whatever business I'm doing. She was my greatest sewing client. She had me completely make her entire wardrobe practically. Like, God, we made like 5 dresses and 10 shirts and oh God, I don't even know how many skirts, and it was just amazing. So much fun to work with her. And she was my first client with Crystal Cocoon. She's very cool. So I get to spend the day with her, but shopping, is not my idea of fun. It is not fun to me, however. yeah. Okay, I am excited to see what kind of stuff I can find for our home. I think it'll be nice to have a new feel in there. Always good to bring in some new feeling things when you, and not necessarily to push the whole consumerism, but even if you're going to make something or repaint something or just change the feel of it. When my husband and I were separated for 4 years during our marriage early on, and when we decided to come back and together and to try to make it work again together, we decided to paint, and the funny thing is we didn't finish painting the upstairs, and that was years and years ago. Yes, Kristen, you can. And so the upstairs is still unfinished, and honestly, it's a pretty good metaphor for where we're at. We're not finished yet. So this card is for Tracy Mendez. She asked yesterday, I'm not sure if she's in today yet, but this is Rhiannon. The Goddess deck wanted to talk with you. Rhiannon, the mystery. And remember, these are for all of us, right? They really relate to all of us, but let's make sure you can see her. There we go. Celtic goddess of the moon and inspiration, Rhiannon owns a magic white horse and 3 singing blackbirds. She was wrongfully accused, and humiliated by false claims that she had eaten her baby son. That's freaking horrible. I didn't know that. I haven't read Rhiannon yet. I don't think I've ever pulled her. Her quiet patience for justice paid off when her son was discovered many years later. The reunion of the two had many blessings, including her son's ascension to the throne. Rhiannon is the queen of sincere acceptance and patience. That's probably why she's coming in. She masterfully knows when she cannot control in universal law, and she teaches you to allow and hand your problems over to the universe, as the universal law of justice has supreme methods of dealing with everything in its divine way. She wants you to let the mystery of the unknown unfold accordingly. I'm just going to read the shadow pieces because I think that a lot of us are kind of struggling with this right now. Wanting to control, wanting to be right, resenting, lacking a sense of mystery, focusing on the outcome instead of being present in the journey, impatience, trying, yeah, I can turn it down. Thanks for letting me know. Trying to convert or change others, non-acceptance. So, right now, I know for myself, I'm dealing with some of this right now. And yes, more. You guys are so great letting me know. Thank you. So right now it has been this time period, the energy that's coming up, people who are used to having things kind of carefully controlled and easy and functioning smoothly and just really wanting everything to be a certain way are getting really frustrated, are getting angry actually, and are feeling like that system of keeping things going in check and in a pattern isn't working. It's very frustrating. People are challenging this right now, so people like I'm a really super flowy, go with the flow. I know it's going to turn out great no matter how it turns out. I can be very challenging to work with because I'm going to throw 1,000 ideas out there and whatever sticks on the board we'll work on. And then if it falls apart after we've worked on it for some time, I'm like, look, there's some other things sticking on the board. Let's go look at that. So for me, what I'm dealing with is the opposite of that, and that means people who don't like that are coming towards me right now, or are interacting with me or reacting with me. So this definitely is energy that's coming through. So what we can do if you're in this position, if you're dealing with this, let's just take a second and just take a moment to, it's definitely in the air, Martina. It's in the air. You're not alone. So let's just take a moment and just really tune into this energy frequency of this goddess, Rhiannon. Feel how she had her whole life basically taken away from her because others wanted to control her. They didn't like the way she was working in her world and doing her thing, right? She lost her son, she lost her kingdom, she lost everything, but she kept her grace. She kept in just a state of allowance, moving forward. She allowed the crow's energy, helps us to let things pass, let go of things that don't work, and continue moving forward. Feel feel her horse beneath her. Feel that strength, that consciousness of the animal, also making choices and decisions for her better good, her steed. And just let her energy come in and allow yourself to also see that others are dealing with her energy as well. Just from the opposite end, from a lack, whether you're dealing with facing an abundance of her frequency or a lack of it. And just imagine it balancing in you, in this state of working, focusing, being present, showing up, but also loosely in a state of allowance, knowing that things are happening and moving and progressing, and your only job is to keep your seat, follow the horse's path, let it carry you. One of the best advices I ever got from a business coach, well, there are two pieces, but the best one for this reference point is be willing to move forward with imperfect action. Recognize that perfection is unattainable. Okay. All right, let's see. Melanie Myers is the next. Yeah, a lot of frustration going on. Sure, Laura can get a card pull. All right, so now we're at Melanie Myers. My son had this horrible cold, like a week ago, and he just started getting it back again, and I'm starting to, like, oh, I feel a little, no. All right, so, yeah, we're going to transition over into Melanie's cards. She got the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, who want to talk with her. Here's what the cover kind of looks like. You know, a lot of these decks are available on Amazon. And I personally try to start at my local stores to buy them, and then if I can't find them there, then I'll go and look online. If you're looking to expand your decks, just use your compass when you're trying to decide. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so this is from Melanie. I haven't seen this card for a while. My friend Jen pulled this a while back when we were trying to figure out, well, her sister had been murdered, and it was a pretty awful experience. It was right when I first started doing energy work and training, and as we were, you know, there was the story that was evolving of what happened, and we were using our gifts to feel it out. You know, this is part of where the compass comes from for me. I started with the pendulum, and as we were doing so much heavy inquiry, and then watching how the evidence ended up falling out and looking and seeing, I learned that my feeling, my sense of energy in my body, and that yes and that no are really very strong and pronounced, and started using it in other ways and using it with other situations and building in confidence in it, and eventually building, you know, the Life Mastery Program, which originally was called the Life Compass. Good morning, Elizabeth. So anyway, we pulled this card during that, and it's the Adjacent Possibilities card. Let's see, it's card number 24. Sometimes the force of habit keeps you stuck and unaware of potentially healthier and happier choices at hand. Yet every moment you give the opportunity to open a different door and take a different course, I think I read that wrong. Yet every moment gives you the opportunity to open a different door and take a different course, whether it's in your thoughts, behaviors, or in major life decisions. Unlike the indecision card, this is not about indecision, which indicates confusion and vacillation about which course to take, the adjacent possibilities card is here to tell you that you have many options, and it's time to take a wider look at things. As you consider the many life choices available, you will feel more and more empowered and motivated to make the decisions that bring happiness, strength, and forward motion. In terms of your goals, this card could indicate unknown and previously unconsidered ideas. Perhaps there's a marketing tool you haven't thought of, a connection you haven't tapped, or even an entirely different direction that would be more suited to you. Be conscious, be aware, and be flexible, and willing to take new and different action. I do still have card pulls, that's Elizabeth. So this card comes on, when we, I'm actually going to read the reversed as well, because I think this is something that most of us struggle with, is the inverse of this. When reversed, the adjacent possibilities card is warning you to be careful not to miss any unknown opportunities, because you're too married to your agenda. It's also asking you to turn inward and a willingness to shake up your old unhealthy patterns and inner habits. The power of your life force moves through your deeply held habits. Projecting your energy out into the universe and calling back your results. In this way, your ongoing thoughts and beliefs are really your defining moments, and every next moment you have another energetic choice. So it's time to decide, are you going to let worry and self-doubt define you, or are you going to step into your ever-present adjacent possibility of optimism, trust, and self-love? No more stuck. No matter how stuck you feel, you always have options in the thousands of choices that you make every day. What this really makes me feel like bringing to point is, this is a conversation I was having with my husband actually yesterday. This is why I was late yesterday. What we were talking about was, he asked me, I had a conflict with a good friend, and then I was letting him know that I was going to be doing something with that friend later. And he was like, why are you doing something with them? Didn't you have a problem with them? And I said, well, first of all, I didn't even remember actually having the problem. Oh, it's so funny. My headphones are not plugged in. Isn't that interesting? So that's why the music was so loud for you guys. So I don't even need to wear the headphones. Anyway, how funny is that? Adjacent possibilities. It could be something else. It could be that the music, anyway. So just a confirmation, right? That's the way the universe, gives us these signs and these confirmations. That's hilarious that hasn't been plugged in the whole time. Anyway, so he was asking me, why are you going out with this person if you just had a conflict with them? And it was like 7 months ago that conflict occurred. And I said to him, I was like, honestly, when I have conflict with people, what my main goal is to figure out, like, what's their view on that? Like, why are they feeling so upset or so conflicted or so angry? And so I was just kind of really sitting with that, and I told him, I said, I use that as an opportunity where, I look at myself, what triggered me in the situation, but then I would try to look from their perspective, like what was their perspective on that? Why were they feeling that way? Where were they coming from? And if I can drop enough into their view, their perspective, then I can gain two completely different perspectives of the same situation. And finding a third and a fourth and a fifth is easier and easier and easier. And when we can see all these possibilities of how we're willing to interpret something, how we're willing to approach something, how we're willing to receive something, when we can see that there are other choices, and it's not just about what our programming tells us, that's when we get freed. We're freed from the locked-in, rigid belief system. So that, for me, is how I view conflict as opportunity for growth, for development, for understanding, for awareness, but mostly to deconstruct something that's rigidly inside. Whether it's for me or for somebody else, it's always going to be for me as well, right? So if I'm participating in it, it's just as much for me. There's an affirmation tied with this card, and I thought it might be nice for us to do that affirmation together. Now, when we do affirmations, I don't know if you guys have done very many affirmations before. So when you're doing an affirmation, you're just going to repeat this. I will speak it slowly, and I want you to just repeat it aloud if you can, if you're somewhere that you can. If you can't, then just imagine yourself standing there repeating it aloud, okay? So just take a moment. When we're doing an affirmation, we're speaking to not just ourselves, but to the universe. So see yourself standing there in the center of your creation, feeling all of that creation around you, really opening the space for your intention of this affirmation to be spoken, okay? Just opening up that space, seeing all of the creation around you, right? The people that you interact with that you want most impacted by this, the situations, what you want to be supported by, what you can't even imagine, right? And the affirmation is, I am open and willing to take my life in new directions. I am becoming more aware in many options. I see options for harmony and optimism in my thoughts and in my choices each day. Say it again. I am open and willing to take my life in new directions. I am becoming more aware of many options for harmony and optimism in my thoughts and in all of my choices each day. And let's add in here, and I'm willing to look for more options and choices before acting each day. Okay, so that was Melanie's. Let's see what Wendy's card has. The energy right now, I think, is today the new moon? Yes, it is. It's the new moon in Cancer. It is, and if I'm remembering correctly, we're moving out of the moon in Gemini. So Gemini's moon was, looking at our two sides of ourselves, and this Cancer moon is really, it's a water sign, so it's about coming into that, into the depths, coming into the internal, really looking at the self. How are these ways that we infect ourselves? What are these different things that we do to undermine ourselves and to really create problems for ourselves when there really isn't a problem there in the first place? Most things that we view as something that needs to be fixed is actually just something that needs to be observed and then allowed, and it moves forward and progresses all on its own in a beautiful and perfect way. So let's see, we've got Wendy, your card pull. Lovely Wendy. My ear just started itching big time. Whoa. Somebody must be talking about me. Let's see, Wendy, Ganesh wants to speak with you. This is the Angela Hartfield Whispers of Lord Ganesh deck. Love this deck. It's funny, they definitely get into little themes, which decks want to come out and when. Let's turn this one down a little bit. I was just yesterday, I went out, and Kyle, who does all of the music, and that we listen to. Left for Love. Oh, a lot of people at my school are angry because they're not happy there. They're also angry because I don't let them have free food. What can I do? Well, when people are angry, honey, you got to let them deal with their own anger, because their anger is theirs to hold. I've said this before. My husband's abuse counselor talks about with men to get them into touch with their anger. Anger is not actually an emotion. It's fear plus another emotion. It's a compounded emotion. So recognizing that they have fear. So if they are wanting free food, speak to the fear that they have, that they can't afford food or they don't prioritize food that way. Speak to that and be like, I'm sorry, I bet you are hungry, but I love my job. Bring it back into what the reality is. If I give food away, then I could lose my job, and then you'd have to give me food, right? So, and you can listen to somebody's problem and empathize and have compassion for them. You don't have to be their solution. You also don't have to take responsibility for the way that they feel about it. So remembering that too, it's really hard for us as empaths and service-oriented people to keep that on. They take it out on me. Yeah. So then it becomes learning to well, this is perfect, but it's Wendy's card, but I think this also will apply for you as well. I haven't seen this one yet, Wendy. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to read this one, and this is definitely what we need right now. I have been working on my brave lion. Courage. Courage is the Ganesh card that came for you, Wendy. Warmth of your open heart can give comfort to all who cross your path. The root word for courage is courir. I think I'm saying that right. C-O-E-U-R, which is the French word for heart. Courage comes from the heart. It is an inner strength guided by love, which seeks truth and justice. When you have the courage to be your true self, you start to feel empowered to act and live in ways true to your own soul without any illusions. Ganesh is urging you to let down your guard and stop wearing a mask. Begin to have more respect for yourself as well as for others. Be aware of making harsh judgments about yourself and others. When you come from the heart, you will find that you relate better to others. Your innate gifts will be able to shine through. You are capable of leadership, achievement, and inspiring others to succeed through your own successes. When you draw this card, it is a sign that your ability to cooperate and thrive in peer ventures with like-minded individuals is heightened. Be willing to do what is needed for things to run smoothly for you. Ganesh promises great success if you are willing to let down your walls. He is pictured here on the powerful lion inherited from his mother, Parvati. The lion represents the fierce nature of Ganesh. He calls on you now to trust the fearless part of your being, your own inner lion, and invites you to work with him to learn how to be valiant and harness your heart's great courage. So this is definitely time right now for us to pull out our lion hearts. I've been having a lot of different opportunities to practice courage in way different ways, right? So not only have I had the opportunity to speak my truth and speak up courageously in a situation where I had my heart kind of on the line and it was very emotional and scary. I met a person who I feel the super strong energetic connection to, so figuring out what does this mean, how do we handle this, and being really honest and in integrity with it, and speaking clearly and truthfully and transparently to build that new relationship of trust with foundation. That takes a lot of courage. I've also had conflict, courage, like in the face of a conflict, in the face of having to really speak my truth in a relationship, in a dynamic that is already tumultuous, that already struggles for steadiness. And I know that speaking my truth is one of the things that rocks that foundation, but having to do it anyway. and finding that it didn't go the way I thought it would go, right? Because I was really standing in my own truth and speaking it and being loving and compassionate and trying to accept the other person. I was able to have a conversation that I never thought we would have. So lots of opportunities to practice this courage are coming up right now. And the thing that helps me when I'm feeling a lack of courage, and I know that I want to speak up, I know that I want to say something, is for me to really sit down inside and what is it that I'm afraid of? Just allow yourself, like, think of a situation right now that you know you need great courage to actually be able to face it. Just pause for a moment and think of that situation. Allow it to play out in your mind as though you're actually having your worst fear met. It's actually happening. Whatever that may be. Just imagine that for a moment. Feel the responses in the body, the physiological responses. Feel the thought processes that are playing out. And let it go all the way to a possible ending. Maybe the worst is true. The relationship gets blown to pieces. There's nothing left of it. It's just an open ground. Maybe you've been seen and rejected. Again, relationship. Poof, gone. Now watch as the dust settles. Continue to watch for a few moments. And look at how after all the dust of even the worst of possible outcomes settles, suddenly you no longer have the weight of that person, that relationship. You no longer have the weight of the fear of that situation occurring. That's gone. You've been rejected, right? It's done. And now you will never waste another moment of your energy, your time, your thoughts, your emotions on this situation. Do you want to have a relationship that's so tenuous that it can be blasted like that? Do you want to have an investment to keep feeding into something that ultimately isn't going to support you? Or does it need to all change? By blowing up the foundation, are you now able with that person to create a completely different system? That's what my husband and I have been working on. So just give yourself that time and space to face your fear. And see how even at its worst, the fear is a beautiful opportunity. Think back through all the times you've faced that situation in the past, been rejected, had relationships come to a close, lost things, homes, spaces, people, money. Think of all of that. And look how right now, here, in this moment, you're still alive. You're still able to tune in and watch. So you've got internet, electricity, probably food, probably have a house. You have some people who might be coming and visiting you. Right? You have new friendships to build and create. So facing our worst fears gives us the courage to move forward, because there's really nothing that we couldn't face. There's nothing that we can't survive. And if we can't survive it, then that was our course. And we know death isn't really the end because we hear the dead people. So just play with this for a little while when you're needing more courage. All right, so Martina, your card is next. Oh, sure, yeah, I can put your card last, Martina. Okay. So Kristen, who wants to talk to Kristen? Who wants to talk to Kristen? Oh, the Messenger Oracle. I love the Messenger Oracle deck. You're welcome. In the Adjacent Possibilities card, it had talked about how, you know, what we do is we get really invested in our agenda, what we believe the outcome to be. Tracy, you want a card pull? And so, Tracy, I did your card pull already. I did it first when we first came in because you asked yesterday. So you're at the very beginning of the show. So after the show, you can go back and listen to it. I can't even remember what it was. Rihanna the goddess. Rihanna was yours. Okay, so this is for Kristen. I know these card pulls are for you guys, but seriously, it's like they're all just for me. Thank you for confirming that you need it too. It's not just the Jessie hour. Okay, make the sacrifice. Check out this card, you guys. Can you see all of that? Look at that dragon. The new moon in the background. Behind the tree. You will not achieve the outcome you desire if you are unwilling to act upon your intentions. It is not as simple as wanting something to happen or believe it will happen. You have to make it happen. And to make it happen requires that you be willing and ready to do whatever is necessary, no matter the sacrifice. For everything you desire, you must give yourself in return. Oh, thank you, Tracy. So, you know, our sacrifice is making the sacrifice. Like, you know, for me, I'm kind of like an all in. Like, I jump all in. And I do believe it will all just like work out, honestly. And I know that it's not going to be the way that I think it's supposed to be. I know my idea in my head of what I believe this is supposed to look like or how I want it to go is only a marker to get me there. And that the end is something I can't imagine, and it's even better. So this for me is a core belief. I had to program this belief in. This was not how I used to operate. I used to believe that if I wanted something, it would never happen. In fact, it's something I worked on in therapy extensively with my counselor for many years. I truly believed that if I desired it, it would not happen. It would not work. It would definitely not come to fruition. I almost felt like I wouldn't let myself desire it because I knew that would make it not happen. And when things were starting to go, when my manifestations were starting to flow through into that, and things were happening around me, I would be waiting for the shoe to drop, right? I'd be waiting for it to all crash around me. And that would make things crash around me. Like now as a understanding manifestation the way I do, I can see how that would do that. So I was creating self-perpetuating cycles to prove true that if I want it, if I desire it, it will never happen. It won't be real. It's not true. And I'm again facing yet another actual little layer of that right now. So with making the sacrifice, it's important to remember that when you are trying to allow yourself to flow through and let things come to you, and you realize that you have to let go of certain aspects of what you thought that was going to be, that does not have to mean it is the end of the whole. That's instead, try to think of it as if you were carving a piece. You're carving a piece of art. I don't know if any of you are sculptors or carvers, or I've done pottery sculpting, and I've done some wood carving and a very, very little stone carving. But what you learn when you start working with these different mediums and you're cutting away at the medium is that the medium itself has something to express as well. The material, the wood. And so the best, like when you go and you see these sculptures that are just stunning and amazing, and you ask them, where did that come from? They'll say, it came out of the piece. The piece told me what it wanted to be. It needed to be made. So what we are is facilitators of making art and using all of these pieces to come through. And an artist doesn't weep at every piece that has to be cut away from the whole. They start with a great big block of everything. And then they have to cut away. This isn't working. That doesn't work there. Nope, that doesn't work there. They have a general idea, a hierarchical message of what they want to achieve. You know, they have a sense of it. For me, when I was doing pottery, I was a potter for most of my 20s and my teens. And I wouldn't know. My teachers would always get really angry with me because they'd give me a specific thing, like, okay, throw 6 cylinders. And I could throw 6 cylinders and in a row and blah, blah, blah. They'd all be the same shape and height and thickness and all of that. But that gave me no pleasure. And I actually sometimes would have to fight with the cylinders. And sometimes I'd put a piece of clay on my wheel and there was no way it was going to go into a cylinder shape. And oftentimes things that would come up and express on the wheel, it's like the clay would have to express itself as something and then be brought back down and then express into what I was hoping it would turn into, right? So it's like, it was like, let me just get this out. Okay, fine. Now you can do what you want. So we have to be in allowance as we're making things happen to let that thing express itself and let go of the parts that we thought were critical. Right? We thought that was a critical piece. Allow those pieces to pass out and to fall away, because that's going to show you and take you to that next place that you couldn't have actually seen or imagined because you were still looking at the whole block. So the sacrifice is if we can transition our viewpoint of things falling apart or of things not working from being something that's hurting us, that's attacking us, that's destroying our dreams. Instead of it being something that's a really bad thing, we view it as something that's really a good thing. It's the best thing that could happen, because now we don't have that piece hiding what's behind it, right? So making the sacrifices and allowing those things to pass, if we do that with gratitude and love, then we aren't like poisoning the well, right? We aren't like taking that thing that we have to sacrifice and let go of and allowing it to go off and be free. We're punishing it for having to go off and be free. So really letting yourself be open to this sacrifice energy right now is important for you, Kristen, and recognize that the transition is the gift for you. Okay, so Laura, let me just feel, I feel like there's something else there. Hold on. Yeah, what cute it was that the music just ended. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so what I feel like we need to do at this point for sacrifice, let's just do a little quick something, and then we'll still have time for everything else. So I want you to take a moment, everybody, take a moment. Right now, I bet all of you are facing some sacrifices that you are feeling unsure of, that you're needing a little more courage for, needing a little bit of Rihanna's energy to trust that it will go the way it's supposed to trust in the universe, to allow the universe to create for you what you can't imagine. We're going to call in that energy of the adjacent doorways, right? To be able to allow for even more of these possibilities to show themselves as we carve away the pieces. So just take this moment, this time, and think about the situation that you have in front of you right now where you know sacrifice is being required. Call in that energy of Rhiannon to help support you. See her with her white horse next to you. You can put your arm up over the rump of the horse and let her kind of just walk you through as she teaches you how to let the universe carry you forward down this hallway full of all these other doors and possibilities. Feel Ganesh with his lion coming to your other side, giving you the courage to face it full-hearted, open-hearted, with gratitude, joy, allowance as you move forward. Allow that sacrificial energy of the new moon, that releasing energy, that ability to go black, to carve away, to come in. Crows also are part of that. And carry away the bits and pieces that are being sacrificed and allowing them to go off into the horizon, onto their own journeys. Maybe that piece is its own whole. Let it go be that. Just allow yourself to be in that space of all the different possibilities. So I'm going to move on and pull for Laura while you guys sit in that space. And Laura, the Messenger Oracle deck, also wants to talk to you. This is a great card. This card is called, this one is for Martina. This is your card. All right. Focus and then act. There's something that you want or need to make manifest, but to make your dreams a reality, you must focus your will upon that desire and do what needs to be done. Prayer alone will not give you that which you desire. There are things that you must do in order to have your hopes realized. Now is not the time for stillness or passivity. Now is the time to focus your will, your thoughts and emotions, and to get up and to take the steps necessary. So right now, you know, I know for myself, I'm working on like a big event, this fair. So now is the time for me to just really focus in on the fair. That's the next event. Oh, no, it was Martina's. Martina was above her on the list, and when I was pulling the card, I very clearly heard Martina's. So Laura, yours will be next. Sorry about that. Sometimes they just want to speak it in order so that the order creates the flow of the cards too. So after all of that we just did, right? You're in your area, you're in your hallway of possibilities. Focus in on what it is that you most want in this moment. What is it that you most want to achieve? And see which doorways begin to open for you or stay open, and see which doorways begin to close. Allow yourself to observe that and then choose the next path. Then choose which doorway you want to go through. And this is going to help you, especially for Martina right now. I think what I'm sensing off you, Martina, is that you're allowing other distractions to come in. You're actually creating distractions to come in that are pulling you away from focus on the main issue at hand. I'm sensing that, and I'm doing that as well. So it is something that we all can actually take on. No problem, Kristen. It's something that we can all kind of take on for ourselves, and definitely take the time to focus ourselves. You know, she's got this sword and she's ready, right? Her steed is ready to go. She's fully charged. She has the full light of the moon behind her. She's got all of her energy. She's like bringing everything into herself before she goes and takes that next step, takes that action. Is that a... And there's a crow. Yeah, another crow right here. Like, is that a rat or a crow? So using this frequency of really focusing oneself will help you as you move forward. It'll help all of us, really. Okay, Laura. No. And it's not the Oracle deck that wants to talk to you either, Laura. I'm sorry. It is the Ganesh deck. Ganesh had something else to say, clearly. Alright, and this will be our last pull for today. I think we've gotten this one before. I know I have definitely gotten this one before. And I think we just got it recently, actually, if I remember correctly. So we'll do this as our closing on today. Clear your energy. Look at that. Ganesh is clearing the obstacles that have been impeding your progress. Removal of these obstacles will bring a shift in consciousness. With destruction comes creation. Embrace the opportunity to change and move into a positive phase of freedom. You will undergo a major shift, whether it is in your spirituality or in your personal life. A key life change is around the corner. It's time to move out of your comfort zone. No doubt you are aware of some of the challenges that lie before you, but keep in mind that some of them may be on a more subtle or subconscious level. Believe in yourself and your ability to overcome obstacles, whether in your professional or personal life. The right outlook can go a long way in supporting you through challenging times. One of the many daily challenges is clearly unwanted lower vibrational energies from within your physical body, your aura, and your personal environment. How do you cleanse and balance your energy in order to align with your divine purpose? You may choose to balance your chakra energy centers by taking a much-needed break or stepping outside for fresh air. Consider taking a sea salt bath and use incense or white sage or essential oils such as lavender, clove, or basil to clear your home. Regular meditation will provide the stillness needed to ensure you clearly hear messages that are being given to you, and will also assist in bringing greater sense of calm to your life. Remember to call on Ganesh. Ask him to walk alongside you and show you what you would benefit from clearing away. So let's do that before we close out. We've got 6 minutes left. That's plenty of time. Let's do some energy clearing. We're all pretty much grounded and connected. We've been in that state since we came in. It's wonderful about your morning, my morning Oasis family. Thank you so much, you guys. Courage. Yeah. No, yours, oh, Elizabeth, I didn't actually get to your card pull. I will definitely put you on Monday. I forgot to write you down on the list, and I think we should clear out this energy really quick. And I think that courage is definitely for you as well, honestly. It felt like that too. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a moment. Now, I'm already starting to kind of clear. I use my hands a lot when I'm doing clearing of energy. And I'm going to start at my head because I've got a lot of stuff going on in my head. You're welcome, Laura. So I'm just going to start just with like imagining I'm just sweeping through my head and just clearing it out, just like when you're cleansing through something and washing it. Just going to kind of clear out my head for a moment. Okay. Now, when we're going to clear our energy, there's so many different ways that we can do it. I allow my hands to do whatever they feel guided to do. And usually, like right now, I'm doing kind of this motion that brings it's taking my heart energy that flows through my palms and pulsing it through the body. Kind of just like when you're doing a wash cycle. This agitation cycle is what it kind of feels like. And sending that energy through to break up any hard parts, any blockages. I'm just going to run my hands through my body that way. These are just some simple techniques that you can use when you're in a state of agitation, irritation. You can go outside, just do some deep breaths, really kind of create some movement of energy and space, right? Really get it through. You can also just do it mentally as well. But the hand motion helps bring everything in line, I find. Let's go ahead and also try one other tool for clearing energy. When we're going to do a chakra realignment, we start by imagining ourselves fully grounded, seeing the root growing down. And as we observe our root chakra, we look in at the color and frequency. And we start to imagine a ray of red light, the most perfect, strong, vibrant, beautiful red you can imagine, shining down onto your root chakra. And as it does so, it's cleansing and releasing, activating and reattuning that chakra. Just feel it. If you feel like your chakra's, really dirty or damaged or bruised, just imagine it healing itself, stitching it together. You can even put your hands on that root space, sending that loving energy into the root. Bringing the focus into the sacral chakra, imagining that ray of orange light, so warm, joyous, shining down on that sacral chakra. Bring the hands up to the solar plex, imagining a ray of yellow light shining down on that solar plex and chakra. Clearly I'm having some personal power issues. There we go. Good. And then feeling that hands come up to the heart chakra. Imagine that green and pink energy shining in, just like a swirling watermelon. The heart needs a little extra of that. Come up to the throat chakra, imagining there's a blue light shining on the throat, clear, bright, vibrant. Make sure you're moving your body as you're doing this whenever you feel like you need to. Shoulders are right between your heart and your throat. Oh, my shoulders are needing me to move them. Bring the attention into the third eye space. Purple light. Just imagine this purple light shining down on the chakra. Soothing the anxiety, slowing the mental processes, clearing out the mind. And feeling the crown, this white light shining down on the crown, just clearing and cleansing. And that white light, which has a rainbow opalescence, is now just coming down through the crown, down through the third eye, down through the throat, down through the heart, down through the solar plex, down through the sacral, down through the root, and let that light shine down into Gaia. In this moment, as you serve as a conduit between Gaia and Source, feel the energies flowing through the vessel, through the energy fields. As you breathe. I love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a really amazing weekend. I hope to see you at the fair. Stay in this space as long as you need to, and whenever you need to clear yourself, use some of these tools.